The true story of Princess Diana, the People's Princess. In the history of the United Kingdom, very few women became as loved, admired, and remembered as Princess Diana. Her life was filled with glamour, kindness, sadness, courage, and hope. Millions of people around the world saw her not only as a royal figure, but also as a compassionate human being who cared deeply about others. Her story is one of fame, responsibility, heartbreak, and humanity. Princess Diana was born as Diana Frances Spencer on July 1, 1961, in Sandringham, Norfolk, England. She came from an aristocratic family that had close connections with the British royal family for many generations. Diana grew up in a large house surrounded by gardens and countryside. Although her family was wealthy and respected, her childhood was not always happy. When Diana was very young, her parents often argued with each other. Eventually, they separated and later divorced. The divorce deeply affected Diana and her siblings. She often felt lonely and emotionally hurt during her childhood. Even though she lived in a privileged environment, she experienced sadness that many ordinary people could understand. Diana attended several schools during her childhood. She was not considered an excellent academic student, but she was talented in music, dance, and sports. She loved ballet and dreamed of becoming a ballerina one day. However, because she grew too tall, she could not continue professionally. Still, her graceful movements and elegant personality remained part of her charm throughout her life. As a teenager, Diana became known for her kindness and warm personality. Unlike many people from aristocratic families, she enjoyed helping others and spending time with children. Before becoming a princess, she worked ordinary jobs. She worked as a nanny, a dance instructor for children, and even as a kindergarten assistant. People who knew her during those years described her as caring, polite, and gentle. In the late 1970s, Diana's life began to change forever. She met Prince Charles, the eldest son of Queen Elizabeth II, and the future king of the United Kingdom. At first, Charles had been dating Diana's older sister, Sarah Spencer, but eventually he became interested in Diana herself. The relationship between Diana and Charles quickly attracted media attention. Reporters and photographers followed Diana everywhere. At that time, the British public became fascinated by the shy and beautiful young woman who might become a future queen. On February 24, 1981, the engagement of Prince Charles and Diana Spencer was officially announced. Diana was only 20 years old. Millions of people celebrated the news. Newspapers across the world printed her photographs on their front pages. Their wedding took place on July 29, 1981, at St. Paul's Cathedral in London. It became one of the most famous weddings in history. More than 750 million people around the world watched the ceremony on television. Diana wore an extraordinary white wedding dress with a very long train that became iconic. People called the wedding a fairy tale. Diana officially became Her Royal Highness, the Princess of Wales. She appeared to be living a dream life inside palaces, wearing beautiful dresses, traveling across the world, and attending grand royal events. However, behind the glamorous public image, Diana struggled emotionally. The pressures of royal life were enormous. Diana suddenly found herself under constant observation. Every movement, every outfit, and every expression was discussed by newspapers and television channels. Paparazzi photographers followed her everywhere, sometimes aggressively. Diana also found it difficult to adjust to royal traditions and strict rules. She often felt isolated and unsupported. Over time, problems developed in her marriage to Prince Charles. Despite her struggles, Diana became extremely popular with the public. People admired her because she seemed more natural and emotional than many other royal figures. She smiled warmly at people, hugged children, and spoke kindly to strangers. In 1982, Diana gave birth to her first son, Prince William. 2 years later, in 1984, she gave birth to her second son, Prince Harry. Becoming a mother brought great happiness into her life. Diana loved her children deeply and tried to give them as normal a childhood as possible. Unlike previous royal traditions, Diana personally took William and Harry to school, played with them publicly, and spent more time with them than royal parents traditionally had. She wanted her sons to understand ordinary life and the struggles faced by regular people. As the years passed, Diana became one of the most photographed women in the world. Her fashion choices influenced millions. Every dress she wore became international news. Designers admired her elegance and style. Yet Diana wanted to be known for more than fashion or beauty. She wanted to use her fame to help others. One of the most important parts of Diana's life was her humanitarian work. She supported charities related to homelessness, children, cancer patients, AIDS awareness, and mental health. During the 1980s, many people feared AIDS because they misunderstood the disease. Patients suffering from AIDS were often isolated and treated unfairly. Diana changed public attitudes through simple acts of compassion. In 1987, she famously shook hands with an AIDS patient without wearing gloves. At that time, many people feared touching infected individuals because they believed the disease could spread through physical contact. Diana's action sent a powerful message to the world. People with AIDS deserved kindness, dignity, and respect. That moment became historic. It showed her courage and humanity. Diana also visited hospitals regularly, comforting sick children and speaking to patients privately. Many people said that when Diana entered a room, she made others feel seen and valued. In addition, she worked to raise awareness about landmines left behind in war zones. In 1997, she visited Angola, where she walked through dangerous minefields, wearing protective equipment. Photographs of Diana walking through those areas shocked the world and drew global attention to the issue. Her humanitarian efforts proved that she was more than a royal celebrity. She genuinely cared about suffering people. Unfortunately, Diana's marriage continued to deteriorate. Rumors of unhappiness and infidelity filled newspapers for years. Both Diana and Charles faced enormous pressure from public attention. In the early 1990s, their separation became official. Interviews, books, and media reports revealed personal details about the royal family. Diana openly spoke about her emotional pain and struggles with depression and eating disorders. One of the most famous moments came during a television interview in 1995 with journalist Martin Bashir. During the interview, Diana spoke honestly about her marriage and mental health challenges. She famously said, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded," referring to Charles's relationship with Camilla Parker Bowles. The interview shocked Britain and the world. In 1996, Prince Charles and Princess Diana officially divorced. Although she lost the title Her Royal Highness, she remained internationally beloved. After the divorce, Diana focused even more on charity work and motherhood. She continued traveling worldwide to support humanitarian causes. Despite the pain she experienced, Diana remained hopeful about the future. She wanted to build a meaningful life beyond royal traditions. In the summer of 1997, Diana began spending time with Dodi Fayed, the son of Egyptian businessman Mohammed Al-Fayed. The media became obsessed with their relationship. Paparazzi photographers chased them constantly. On August 31, 1997, tragedy struck. Diana and Dodi Fayed were traveling through Paris in a car while being pursued by paparazzi photographers. The driver lost control inside the Pont de l'Alma tunnel. The crash killed Dodi Fayed and the driver instantly. Diana was critically injured. Doctors fought to save her life, but she died a few hours later at the age of 36. The news devastated the world. Millions of people cried openly. Crowds gathered outside Buckingham Palace, Kensington Palace, and many public places across Britain. People left flowers, letters, candles, and photographs in memory of Diana. Her funeral took place on September 6, 1997, and became one of the most emotional public events in modern history. Millions watched on television as her coffin traveled through the streets of London. One unforgettable moment was seeing Prince William and Prince Harry walking behind their mother's coffin, beside Prince Charles and other royal family members. During the funeral service, Diana's brother Earl Spencer delivered a powerful speech, criticizing media intrusion and praising Diana's compassionate nature. Another emotional moment came when singer Elton John performed "Candle in the Wind," rewritten in Diana's memory. People around the world called Diana the People's Princess because she connected emotionally with ordinary individuals in ways that few public figures ever had. Even decades after her death, Princess Diana continues to inspire millions. Her sons, Prince William and Prince Harry, have both spoken about the influence their mother had on their lives. They continue supporting charities and mental health causes, partly inspired by Diana's example. Diana's legacy also changed the British royal family. Before Diana, royal figures often appeared distant and formal. Diana showed that compassion, openness, and emotional connection could make public figures more relatable. Many historians believe she modernized the monarchy through her warmth and humanity. People still remember Diana not only for her beauty and fashion, but for her courage to show vulnerability. She openly discussed mental health, loneliness, and emotional suffering at a time when many public figures avoided such topics. Her honesty made others feel less alone. Princess Diana's story is not simply the story of a royal woman. It is the story of a human being who lived under enormous pressure yet continued trying to help others. She experienced privilege, but she also experienced heartbreak. She lived inside palaces, yet often felt lonely. She became one of the most famous women in history, yet she longed for normal happiness. Through all of this, she remained compassionate towards suffering people. Today, documentaries, books, films, and interviews continue exploring Diana's life because her story still touches hearts worldwide. Tourists visiting London often stop outside Kensington Palace to see the memorials dedicated to her. Many people who were alive during the 1980s and 1990s still remember exactly where they were when they heard the news of her death. Young generations, who never saw Diana alive, continue learning about her humanitarian work and kindness. Her influence on fashion also remains strong. Many modern designers continue drawing inspiration from her elegant clothing style. But more importantly, her emotional honesty changed public conversations about compassion, mental health, and humanity. Princess Diana once said, "Carry out a random act of kindness with no expectation of reward." That simple message perfectly reflected the way she tried to live her life. Although her life ended tragically and far too early, her memory continues to shine brightly. Princess Diana remains one of the most famous women in the history of the United Kingdom, not because she was born royal, but because she cared deeply about people. Her story proves that true greatness is not measured by crowns, wealth, or titles. It is measured by kindness, empathy, and the ability to touch human hearts. And for that reason, the world will never forget Princess Diana.